Hi everyone, I hope you're having a good day. Today we are going to take a look at while loops in Python. This video is made specifically for the Edexcel GCSE course for computer science, but the skills used here can be applied to any exam board or scenario. So let's take a look first of all at how we actually put together a while loop and what one of those looks like. So I'm just going to zoom in on my computer screen so that things are a little bit easier to see with the text. Before we start, I just want to point out I have the idle shell open here on the left hand side, and then I have clicked File, New File, which has opened up the program editor for us. What I like to do is click Option and then Show Line Numbers. This is especially useful in the exams because on your paper you'll be asked to edit certain things. So you may be asked to say, for example, find and fix the syntax error on line number 5. So you can see if I just press enter a few times, you can immediately see where line number 5 is. It just makes things a little bit easier. I'm going to also have it on throughout the video so that you can see, for example, when I'm talking about things, I'll say, oh, we're doing this on line 5, so for example, so that you can see things a bit more clearly. So let's take a look at a very basic while loop then. The first thing we need to do is use our keyword while. As you can see, that turns orange in our Python editor, which shows us that it's a keyword. So this is how we start off any while loop. The next thing we need is some sort of condition. So what I'm going to do is just press enter a few times, and I'm going to create a variable called user input. And for now, we will just set this to be an empty string. We can say a condition. For example, while user input is not equal to, we represent not equal to with an exclamation mark followed by an equal sign, and we'll say while user input is not equal to hello. And then the next thing we need, if you remember from other things like our if statements for example, we need a colon on the end. This is part of Python's syntax, which is almost like the grammar of the programming language, and it's what tells Python to create this automatic indentation. Anything that's indented underneath a keyword statement is what's going to be executed for this statement. So in this case, whatever code we put here is going to be executed while user input is not equal to hello. So you can see at the moment it's not equal to hello, so we're going to be executing whatever line of code we put here. Now what I want to do is keep asking the user to input something until they type in hello, and then if they do, we'll send them a message via a print statement. So if we want to keep asking them, we can say user input equals, and we use that input keyword which turns purple because it's a function. We will say enter a word, like so, and make sure to close the quotes and close the brackets as well. So if we run this now, let me just save the file. I'll save it to my desktop so it's easy to get to. I'll call it a while loop so that I know what we're talking about. Click on save and that runs. So it says enter a word, let's type in hi. You can see, because this condition here, user input not equal to hello, well, it's not equal to hello, so it's going to keep running whatever's inside of this loop until we enter hello. So if I type in, let's say good morning, that won't work. If I type in hello, you can see that the program's ended, it's finished, because this condition is no longer being met. Well, we have typed in hello, so this is no longer true, so this piece of code in the indent is no longer going to get executed. Now, once this while loop is finished, and we're not going to be executing this code, Python's going to look underneath. But in our case, there's nothing underneath the code. So that means it's just going to quit the program. So what we can do is if I add a print statement here, and let's say in here you typed in hello, we'll close that with our speech marks and brackets. If I run this now, you can see it works exactly the same as before. If I type in hi and good morning, it keeps looping because this condition hasn't been met yet. So it's going to keep asking us for this user input, which is what we told it to do. But if I type in hello and this condition is no longer met, watch what happens. It prints out our statements from this print statement here. So essentially what's happening is this condition is no longer being met. So Python isn't going to execute this because it's finished with the while loop. So it will look for whatever comes after the while loop. The only thing we have is this print statement, so when this condition is no longer met, this is what's going to happen. I hope that makes sense. Let's take a look then at a challenge. This challenge is taken from a website called GCSECS.com, and so all of the credits goes to them for this example. So we can see that we need to rearrange the lines of code to get the while loop to work. It should keep asking, are we there yet, until Y or yes is answered. And it says you might need to indent some lines. Well, if we refer back to what we had before, in our example we had a variable at the top. So I'm going to keep this variable answer at the top. Now you might be asking, why is it not this one? Well, we need to keep asking until the user enters something. So this is going to be going inside of our while loop. So that's why we're not putting that one at the top. Let's press enter a few more times so we've got some more space. I'm going to cut and paste our while loop to go here, because we need to actually keep asking the user. So we've defined our variable at the top of the program. We know that it's not going to be this one because this needs to go inside of our loop to keep asking the user until they enter Y. So our while loop is what goes first, or what comes after the variable. Now we spoke about how with this colon here, when we press enter, Python's going to indent for us. As you can see, we're already slowly across on line number 11. Now we need to keep asking the user, are we there yet? So let's move this print statement, are we there yet, into our loop. And then of course the final thing we need to do is actually ask them to give us an input. So this is also going to be cut and pasted into our while loop. And then when the user does enter yes, this condition will no longer be met, and Python will move to the next line of code after the while loop, which is our print statement. Yay, we are there. So let's press F5 and give this a run. So if I type in no, it keeps asking us, are we there yet? Let's type no again. Keeps asking us. Because this condition of our while loop is being met, the answer is not equal to Y, so it's going to keep running this code until the answer does equal Y. So let's see what happens when we type in Y. There we go, it does our print statement. Because this condition is no longer being met, the answer is Y, so this is all false, and Python isn't going to run any of our while loop code, so it skips straight to the next line of code after the loop, which is our print. Yay, we are there. So I hope this short video has been really informative for you. If you have any questions about while loops, feel free to add a comment onto the video or send me an email using the email in the about section of the channel. In the description there is a link to a worksheet which contains some more questions for you to practice at home. If you do have any questions or struggles with those, feel free to leave a comment. I'll try and help you as best I can. At some point there will be a video going through all of the questions on the worksheet, so stay tuned for that one. Thanks very much for watching this Code with Kent video. I hope it's been helpful. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends, because they may also find this quite helpful.